Okay, everyone, welcome to our team call. I am super excited. I'm a little bit fired up. And if you've been on my team call before, you know I like to talk. So I'm going to do my best to give you a lot of information in a short amount of time. So I'm going to kind of go through it, and then we'll have questions at the end where we can talk. But I'm super, super excited. Let me first go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see where we are. Okay. We good? We can see? Yes. Okay. So a couple weeks ago, August 27th, I flew to Florida to attend Dynasty Live. So for those of you that are not aware, we're under the big umbrella of the Bombshell Dynasty. And in the middle right here is Lindsay Matway. She's the founder of the Bombshell Dynasty. And then everybody's kind of created their own teams. So we're kind of like a intersect of that Team VIP. And she had some of her elite leaders who lived in Florida come together and just kind of share with us their best practices. So it was an all-day event. There was a dinner on Friday night, and then it was all-day training on Saturday. So it was a lot of information, and I'm basically giving you the Cliff's Notes versions. But I also just found some audio recordings of them, so I'll make sure to post that in Team VIP. If you want to listen to the audio recordings, you are more than welcome to do that as well. But for time's sake today, I'm just going to kind of brush over the highlights, the key points of what I feel like it's going to really help us in our business. My key takeaway from this, it was kind of a lot of gut checks. What I love about these women is that they are strong, they're independent, and they're just telling it like it is. So I'm relaying that information to you today. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm just giving you what they gave me. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing that we talked about is having an entrepreneur mindset. Now, for a lot of us, this is different because we're used to being employees. We're used to going in, exchanging time for money. We go in, work 8 hours, we get paid for the 8 hours. As an entrepreneur, CEOs of our own business, it doesn't necessarily mean that if I work 8 hours, I'm going to get paid that time in the beginning, right? So this is a quote that I think I've said before, but they also brought it up again, and I just feel like it is so spot on. And it says, some people think 2 to 5 years to become successful in business is a long time to succeed, but they think 40 years in a job is a reasonable time frame to be broke. And I think that is so true, because in this business, it can seem like I'm working so hard, and I've been doing this for, 3 months consistently, 6 months consistently, a year consistently, 2 years. When you get to that 2 year and you're just like, I feel like I should be further along by now. But the beautiful thing about this business is if you stick with it and you are staying consistent and doing the things that you need to be doing day in and day out, you will be successful. And I'm going to share a little bit about that as we go. But basically what we talked about is that we kind of all been told this like beautiful little lie of what's normal, right? What's normal is you go to college, you get a job, you work 30, 40 plus years, and you retire. And then that's when you get to live your life, which is great. And it's what majority of America does, but it's not the only way. And the beautiful thing about being the CEO and the entrepreneur of your own business is that if you can go hard for 2 to 5 years, you can live a life. You can be retired. And that's really what the beautiful thing of when I went to Florida is I got to see these entrepreneurs who are living that, who went hard, who went all in, who made short-term sacrifices, and now are being able to live this amazing life. Like Lindsay and her husband, they're both get to walk their daughter to and from school. He's able to do his own side business of what he wants to do. They have the freedom to help out their family members who might need help or money or a home. She's able to give. She tithes to her church, and she's able to really donate where she feels the need to donate. And so just again, if you can go in knowing it's going to take a while, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a really short time of your life. Having a bigger vision and knowing why you are doing this. So if you haven't run into a tough spot of your business yet, where it gets a little bit hard, it'll happen and it's normal. And if you don't have a bigger vision of where you see this going, or a deep down, why am I doing this? You're not going to continue to be successful. And I know that for me, my why has changed. When I first started, if you know my story, I started this because I felt like I had played by the rules. I had gone to school. I had gotten my master's degree. I worked so hard in my business or in my job. And at the end of the day, I had hit like my ceiling of the amount of money I could make. And I was seeing other people, maybe not working at the same level as I was, making the same amount as me. And then I was going and dropping off my kids for 10 hours a day in daycare. And I was mad because I felt like I had played by the rules. And I said, there's got to be something else out there for me. And so my why has always been for my family. I want my kids, I want to be more present in their lives. And I have been able to do that. I would love to be even more present than I already am. I want my kids to be set up where they don't have to leave college having student loan debt. I don't want them to have to leave college with that. And I also want to retire my mom. My mom is my best friend, my biggest fan, and she works so hard. And when this business gets hard, and I hear a lot of people tell me, no, I'm not seeing my income grow as fast as I'd like it to do, I have to come back to why am I doing this? And know it's going to push me forward to get through those tough times. So again, having a bigger vision and figuring out why am I doing this, it takes time. There's a video by Simon Sinek, and I'll also post it in our group, and it says start with why. And it's a great, great video to watch. It's not super long, but it really makes you think of why are you doing this? That really has to be your number one step first. The next thing that I thought was so good and so true and really relates to all of us is that success looks different for everyone. So we have got to define it for ourselves. A lot of times my coaches, will look at me and say, I'm not having the same success as you are, or, I'm looking at her and she's succeeding faster. I think success looks different for different people. And I just made a post before we did this. For some people, success is, earning enough money to pay for their Shakeology so that they're, being able to drink this amazing shake full of superfoods and it's not costing them anything. That's success. For some others, it's being able to make a couple $100s a month and put it away into a Christmas savings so that when they come to December, they've had money kind of stowed away and they don't have to put on a credit card, and that's success to them. For others, I look at Jessica who, in December left her job where she was working so many hours, and now she's able to work at home with her daughter and her newborn Nolan. And that's what success looks like for her. I think success just going to look different. Laura's goals, she wants to be a top 10 coach. So her idea of success is going to look different than maybe me, right? It may look different than me, and that's okay. But you have to figure out, what does success look like to me? And then we got to work backwards from there to figure out how to get you to where you want to be. And that's where you really work with your upline coach to say, here's where I want to go. How can I get there? And that's where we come in to really help you figure out how to get there to reach your goals. Be patient while you do the work. So I posted the video of Gary Vaynerchuk. If you went to Summit this past year, you got to experience him. You can Google Beachbody Summit Gary Vaynerchuk, and you can watch his entire, 45-minute session. If you're not familiar with him, he is very much tough love. I don't even know if you call it love because he's just tough. And I posted just a little snippet of, he says, the problem with you Beachbody coaches is you're not patient. And I thought that was, and you're also not working as hard as you think you are. He's like, you're saying, oh, I'm working so hard in my business. And then you're like binge watching an entire season of House of Cards or whatever the case may be. And he said, you've got to be patient and you got to do the work. Patience is not one of my strong points. It just isn't. And so that was a really good gut check for me too, to remember it's not an overnight business. I don't sign up today and then 3 months from now I'm making a 6-figure income. It's not like that. But thank goodness it's not, right? Those get rich quick schemes, they are schemes, and this isn't it. But you have to be patient while you do the work. Again, 2 to 5 years. Just know it's going to take that. So if you're saying, oh, I'm going to give it a few months, I'm going to give it 6 months, I'm just going to give it a year, that's great. But just know you're just going to barely be building off the steam that you've created in that momentum. So patience, patience, patience. And then reframe your thinking. What we focus on expands. I think mindset in this business is everything. And I'll touch a little bit on personal development. But if we think this business is hard, guess what? It becomes really hard. If you can reframe like, man, I'm getting a lot of no's, this really sucks. If you can reframe that to, you know what, I'm having a lot of people that saying not right now, but I'm excited that I'm planting seeds. And just like Annie said, she's been talking to a girl for a year. an entire year. And now she's just messaging her to ask her what she's doing. So reframe what we're thinking. Not that it's hard, that, you know what, this business is going to take time. I know that I have what it takes to be successful, and I'm not going to let little setbacks and little no's get to me, because I know I've planted a seed, and I know if I continue on the path that I'm going, I will be successful. So again, thinking is everything, but changing your mindset doesn't happen overnight either. And that's really where you got to dive in to personal development. And I'll touch on that in just a little bit. Okay, so again, touching on a little bit more about mindset, doubt and naysayers. I'm sure at some point in your business, if you haven't felt it already, there's a little bit of doubt that's come up in your mind of like, is this really going to work for me? It works for her, but maybe I'm just not cut out for this. If I were, it would probably be a little bit easier, right? That doubt that's like feeding into your mind right now of like, I'm not really sure this is for me. And if you don't have that personal doubt too, you might have outside sources saying, well, good luck with that. I don't know how that's going to work out for you. I always talk about my boss told me, really, you're going to be pushing shakes? Good luck with that. We'll see how that turns out. Like, you're really going to do that and you think you're going to build an income, which is funny to me. At the time, it really pissed me off, but it didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. And when I do make it in this business, I will hand you a bag of Shakeology. And don't you worry, he wants to be a coach, which is the funniest thing in the world to me. But that's okay. You will have naysayers, you'll have your own doubt, and you'll have people around you that are going to tell you this business isn't going to work. So how do you overcome that? First and foremost, take action, right? Sometimes when you have that doubt and you're afraid and you have that fear, it can paralyze you. And when you get paralyzed, you do nothing. Your business doesn't move forward. And it's like that reciprocal effect of like, you're not doing anything, you're not taking action, you're not moving your business forward, and you're not being successful, which just feeds into the doubt. Or you can take action and you can share your journey, invite others to join you, invite others to join a challenge group. Action builds momentum. If you talk to enough people, somebody's going to say, yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to join you. And it builds the confidence. So you've got to just move forward, take action in your business every single day consistently to really build that confidence and to really crush that doubt. The next thing is to know your motives. I think a lot of time doubt comes from like, well, what are people going to say? What if I invite them to a challenge group? And, what if they think I'm salesy? What if they think I'm just trying to sell them something? What if they tell me no? The thing that I say about that is know your motives. If you're coming from a good place, don't worry about what people are going to think. I get no's all the time from people that are like, no. And I feel like I've been successful in this business and I still have people tell me no. But I know I'm coming from a good place. I know that if they join my challenge group and they commit to the program, they will get amazing results. Without a doubt, I believe that wholeheartedly. And I know I can help them. So I know I'm coming from a good place that I can help them. I know that if they join my team and they really commit to really working hard and building a business, they can do it. So when I say this business works and I'm inviting them to join me as a team member, I'm coming from a good place because I know how much of a blessing it's been in my own life. So again, if you're coming from a good place and you have good motives behind your invite and how you're connecting with people, I don't think you have to have that doubt or fear of talking to people, because that genuineness will come through. Next thing that they talked about that I felt like this was such a good quote that I've told myself a lot is, make doubt a moment in time, but don't live in it. So if you allow yourself, doubt can creep in and it can stay there. And like I said, it can paralyze you and you won't move forward. Recognize doubt happens. I still have doubts every day where I will literally have to give myself a pep talk and it's like, no, you've got this. You're moving forward. You can do it. Acknowledge the doubt. It's a moment in time. Then move on from it. Don't stay there in it or it will paralyze you. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Lindsay Stay. She was one of the presenters there. She was recently this year inducted into the Millionaires Club. And Lindsay Stay was one of Lindsay Matway. Again, Bombshell Dynasty, there's so many Lindsays. It was one of her very first coaches. She might have been like her second or third coach to join her team. And she wasn't a very fast starter. Lindsay Matway says, I was a little worried about her in the beginning because I had signed up other people on my team and they were progressing faster and they were having success. And Lindsay just wasn't. But she stayed the course. She was consistent. She worked on her mindset. She worked on herself. And she said, and wouldn't you know it now, she is my top earning coach out of everyone. She wasn't the fastest growing. She didn't build a business. Her income didn't grow as fast as everybody, but right now, she is my top earning coach out of anyone else. And if you can Google Lindsay Stay, she's on YouTube. She shares her story. And she talked about it. She's like, I had a lot of doubt. I had a lot of self-doubt and I had a lot of naysayers. My family didn't believe this would work. I didn't know if it was going to work. But I stayed the course and I'm so glad I did because obviously now it's been life-changing for her. So just know consistency. And if you stay the course and continue to work hard, it'll happen. And then one thing that she said that I love too is, am I going to stop because I want to affirm the naysayers, right? Or am I going to keep going for the people I'm inspiring? So you will have naysayers. I've had people that have messaged me and say, I really want to believe in what you're doing, but I just don't feel like it's real. Like, I feel like those transformations you post aren't real. I feel like it is a pyramid scheme. Like, I just don't believe in what you're doing. I've had people message me that, which is funny to me that I'm like, you would take time out of your day to message me that, but that's another story for another day. But for every one of those that I've had, I've maybe had 1 or 3, I've had 10 times more people message me that say, I'm so glad you're in my newsfeed. Thank you for inspiring me. And that is really what it's all about. We could stop and we could affirm the naysayers that no, this doesn't work. No, our programs don't work. No, this business doesn't work. Or we can keep going and prove them wrong and help the people that you're inspiring, because you never know who's watching, right? People that have never liked or commented or ever messaged you, they're watching. Whether or not you know it yet, they are. And you don't know who you could be inspiring. So just keep going. Okay, so moving on, again, crash course, Cliff's Notes for all the different things. Shakeology. So Shay Stanford is like the Shakeology guru. She's like a holistic nutrition expert. She's done multiple national wake-up calls on Shakeology. That's really her, bread and butter. She talks about Shakeology. And so she was very upfront with us on what's our knowledge on Shakeology. And she's like, you don't have to know the ins and outs of Shakeology. You don't have to know all the 70 ingredients and how they work in the body at the microcellular level. You don't have to know that, but you need to know the snippets of what makes it great. And it was kind of a wake-up call. Shakeology is something that I love. This is something that I do a lot of research in. I'm a science nerd and I love researching it. But I also know that I don't necessarily do a great job of really informing you as much on Shakeology. So I'm going to, again, Cliff's Notes this, but we're going to talk about what we need to know about Shakeology. So it's a big deal because it's our continuity product, right? So somebody will buy a fitness program how many times a year? Maybe 3, right? Maybe they buy 21 Day Fix, maybe they do 21 Day Fix Extreme, and then maybe they do Hammer and Chisel. And that's pretty much it. If they're drinking Shakeology every single month, that will auto ship every month, which equals residual volume and residual income for yourself. So it is important to really know why Shakeology is amazing and how not only to know it, but to share that value with our challengers so they recognize the benefits of it as well. So knowing our product and what makes it great. The first 3 things we should all know. I don't need to know all the things about Plexus. I don't need to know all the things about Herbalife, the 310 shakes. I don't really spend a whole lot of time researching that. And when people ask me, well, are you familiar with that? I say, I'm not that familiar with that shake, but here's why I love Shakeology. First, no soy. And why do we not want soy in our products? Because it increases estrogen levels, which has been known higher estrogen leads to increased risk of cancer. And it's a cheap filler. If you want to go look up and see how soy is produced, it's genetically modified, pesticides. It is not something that you want in your body. The most common form that we see in soy is soy lecithin. And again, you'll see that in a lot of things with chocolate because it helps it to taste better, but it's very cheap, but it wreaks havoc on your metabolism and your body. Most protein shakes have soy in it. So that's just something that Shakeology does not. So I always tell people, I'm not really familiar with that, but I just make sure to check that it doesn't have any soy in it, specifically soy lecithin. And I know 9 times out of 10, it will probably have that. No artificial flavors. So artificial flavors, they're basically in everything as well, which are linked to focus and mental clarity. So a lot of times people are foggy, they're like, I was in the middle of doing something and I can't remember what it was that I was doing, right? And a lot of times, it is linked to what we're eating, the foods that we're eating. Artificial flavors are in so many things. A lot of our kids are having issues with ADD and ADHD, and it's because artificial flavors are in so many of the packaged foods our kids are eating. So Shakeology has no artificial flavors. It also has no artificial sweeteners. So sucralose, aspartame, phenylalanine, Splenda. What's so bad about those? They spike insulin levels and increase your cravings for more carbs. So most of us don't need more carbs in our life, but when we're consuming artificial sweeteners, that's going to increase our cravings for them. So I don't know who wants to do that, but I don't want to increase my cravings for carbs. They're already high enough. Also, Splenda, the sucralose seems to be in most, that's the one that I see in a lot of protein shakes or other, supplements that people are taking. Splenda, if you didn't know, was actually created as a pesticide first, and it is just not very something that you want to be taking in your body. So again, I don't know much about those shakes, but I will say just make sure your product doesn't have soy, artificial flavors, or artificial sweeteners, because majority of them do. So that's one way Shakeology is better and different. Other key facts. Again, you don't have to know every single superfood ingredient, but it would be really awesome if you could memorize 3, okay? 3 ingredients, learn them so that you can speak to them. So inflammation. So Shakeology, the superfoods in Shakeology naturally reduce inflammation in the body. Inflammation is tied to every single disease, from migraines, arthritis, to certain cancers. And so if we can naturally reduce inflammation in the body, the more the better. So that is examples of that would be pomegranate, acai berry, camu, and goji berry. Those are, you can memorize one and say this helps with inflammation. Camu. Gut health. Our gut, our stomach is the command center for metabolism. We, unfortunately, if you've taken antibiotics, we've been exposed to different chemicals, metals in our water. Our gut health is probably not that healthy. Majority of us are walking around here with a leaky gut, which you can do a ton of research on that, of what leaky gut syndrome looks like. But the digestive enzymes and probiotics in Shakeology really help restore the gut. Examples of those probiotics are yuccan root, chicory root, and Bacillus coagulans. This is a probiotic. Most probiotics, people know probiotics, right? You see those Activa yogurt commercials and they're like, oh, I'm taking my probiotics. The thing about probiotics is that usually they make it to the stomach acid breaks them apart, and they never actually make it to the small intestine to do what they're supposed to do. So eating Activa yogurt, while that's great, you're probably not really actually getting the probiotics. So that is something, what our Bacillus coagulans is one of those probiotics that will actually get to your small intestine. Stress from the environment, stress from our daily lives. Most of us are walking around having stress, again, leads to inflammation in the body. These superfoods, makaru, ashwagandha, astragalus, and shishandra powder are all helpful for reducing stress in your body, which is also great. And then immune system. So the superfoods support a healthy immune system. We always hear about vitamin C is great. People take Emergency when they feel like they're getting sick, which is great. But camu, one of the superfoods in Shakeology, has 60 times more vitamin C than an orange. So all of these things, this is how Shakeology is helping improve the lives and the health of our participants. I know sometimes people think it's just a protein shake or it's just a shake that you drink to lose weight, but it's so much more than that. I've never drinking Shakeology to lose weight. I drink Shakeology because I know it's an investment in my long-term health, and I tell my participants that. So again, you don't have to know every single ingredient, but knowing the big key facts of why Shakeology is awesome. Normal protein shakes aren't going to help with inflammation. They're not going to help with gut health. They're not going to help reduce stress or improve your immune system. They're just a serving of protein. Okay, this is the big kicker, right, of what we need to really, so we know all these amazing things with Shakeology, but what we really need to get to is, why do we drink it every single day? So we can tell them all the facts and probiotics and all that, and your eyes probably glazed over when I talked about that. But really what we want to talk about is, why do you drink it every day? For me personally, like I said, I didn't drink it to lose weight. That wasn't why I drank it. I drank it for my overall health. And my Shakeology why is I was in a postpartum funk. I don't know if I could call it postpartum depression, but I was definitely not in a good place after having my twin boys. I started drinking it when they were like 8 or 9 months old. And I was falling asleep on the couch at about 7:30 every evening. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, depression. I was even talking to my husband, and I was like, man, maybe I should go seek therapy. I'm not in a good place. My boys were sleeping through the night, so there was really from 4 months old, they slept 12 hours a night, and there was no reason why I should be falling asleep at 7 o'clock at night. So I started drinking it, and within a couple of weeks, my husband was actually the first one to notice, and he was like, so I don't know what you're doing if it's that shake, but you should probably keep doing it because your energy level is so much better and I feel like you're just a happier person. And it was true. I felt like I was probably so nutrient deprived, having 3 kids in 2.5 years. Probably my body was just devoid of all nutrients. That Shakeology was really just feeding me so much more. It was giving me natural energy, and it was, really helping my body feel better. So that's really my why of why I drink it every day. And like I said, it's my investment in long-term health. Yes, I know it's not cheap, but I value my body and I see it as a temple, and I want to take care of it so that I can be here forever for my family. Another thing we want to talk about is sharing it in a way that you would explain it to a best friend. You know who does a great job of this? Rachel. Rachel does an amazing way of sharing Shakeology in a way that you would talk to your best friend about it. We can say, I love Shakeology because of the digestive enzymes, the probiotics, the immune support, the energy, and that's great, but honestly, people are not reading that. They want to share it in a way. Why would you tell your best friend to drink this? I drink it because it's a really easy breakfast for me. It gives me natural energy, and it's kept me from getting sick for the past 2 years. Boom. That's how I'd explain it to my best friend. So when you share it in social media, read it out loud to yourself and say, is this how I would tell my best friend? Or am I just spilling out the ingredients and why they're great? So just again, some food for thought on how you share it. And then getting to know your customers' why and relate the benefits to them specifically, right? So what issues are they having, and how can Shakeology help, right? I don't need to go over every single ingredient and why it's going to help them. I need to pick one of how it can help that person specifically and really hone in on that. Okay, so I'm running low on time, so I got to go quickly. Okay, challenge groups. Again, a new thing. Challenge groups. They are what we do as coaches. This is the heart of what we do as coaches. So we need to make sure that our challenge groups are rocking. I can tell you right now, Jessica and I, this challenge tracker app has really sparked us to step up our challenge group game. If you do this for months and months, we've been doing this for like 21 months, they can feel stale, right? We got templates for you. You can copy and paste, but it gets to a point where it can feel stale. So you got to figure out a way that you can make it fun and exciting, and you can create that community and connection with your challengers. Share your story in the group. If you're struggling, tell them. If you're having a great day, share it. I think sometimes when we think we're in a coach, we put ourselves, now we're on this pedestal like we've got it all figured out. But at the end of the day, what we do as coaches is we're like a permanent challenger. So let's just be that challenger. Commit to a program and share your journey. Post your Shakeology selfie. Share, I just killed my workout. Whatever it is, just do that. Be a consistent challenger day in and day out. I think Denise does an awesome job of this as well. And then connect with your challengers. So yes, it's great to have your check-ins in the day in and day out, but connect with them outside of the group. On Sunday evenings or on Monday, send them a little text and say, how are you feeling? What's your stress level like? How can I help you this week? Sometimes I like to send their wins, losses, and commitments. So tell me a win, tell me a loss, and what's your commitment for this week? It's a real quick check-in. I can send it via text. I can send a voice memo, but it's a way that I can really connect with them as a challenger. Because again, if we're not helping our participants get results, we're not doing our job as coaches. Okay, speeding through this. Personal growth and success partners. The ability to tolerate discomfort over time is what makes us successful. As a new coach, even now, you're going to have to do things. For me, posting a selfie on social media, sharing my fitness journey on social media, I was constantly out of my comfort zone. For the first 6 months of my business, every time I posted on social media, I was like cringing. Now I've gotten to the point where I post my journey and it doesn't even faze me. I'll post an invite and it doesn't faze me. But there's different things in this business that It's going to make you a little uncomfortable, but that's when you know, okay, this is helping me grow. This is helping me grow as a coach. This is helping me grow in my business. Shay Stanford said, I think a majority of people only take this opportunity seriously when their back is against the wall. If they are comfortable, then they take it lightly and treat it as an option. That's not to say you have to come from a struggle to be successful or top earning. You just have to start, enjoy helping others and just start the journey. So yeah, we all have to grow into leaders we want to be to earn the income we want to earn. So it is going to be a little uncomfortable. I am not the same Raquel McAfee that I was when I started this business. Thank goodness. The amount of personal growth that I've had as becoming a coach is like night and day. But that's because I've consistently got it out of my comfort zone and I have dug deep into personal development. Personal development is like my jam. I'm constantly listening to a podcast or listening to a book on Audible or reading a book in my spare time because I feel like, mindset is everything and personal development is really helpful. So if you're not reading personal development every single day or listening to an audio of personal development, I can't stress enough, get on that ASAP. And if you don't know what to read, I promise one of us has a great book for you to read. I'm always reading something new. So if you need help with personal development, I'm always here to help with that too. Success partners. So at the beginning of this year, earlier in the year, we made a grand mistake of trying to assign people success partners. I laugh because we thought we were doing a good thing. We were just going to try to hook people up and, they'll be a great partner and they'll be a great partner. Because this business is really hard to do alone. And when you connect with a success partner, it helps so much. But here's the deal. Give it a trial run. Okay. I know for some of us, we've had a success partner and their success partner's already like fallen off the train and, maybe they've quit the business or who knows. So give it a trial run and say, we're going to give this 60 to 90 days and we're going to reevaluate. If we get to the end of the 60 days or 90 and decide, you know what, this isn't really a good match, no hard feelings. We'll reevaluate. When looking for a success partner, you want to see somebody who's similar at your same rank, maybe joined at the same time as you and has the same goals. There's a gym test that I'm trying to get all my coaches to do that kind of tells you your gym color, your personality, what you're motivated by. And I think that that's really helpful to try to match up with someone very similar to you because it'll just make for a better connection. Your life, your interests, your brands, if theirs are similar, I think it helps. It doesn't necessarily have to be. Personal and business strengths. What strengths do you bring to this business, and what are some areas that you need to develop? I think that those are very good to share with your success partners so that for me and my success partners, they know where my areas are struggling, and I want them to call me out when they see me not working on that weakness. So that's really kind of the goal there. And then sharing your 3, 6, 9, and 12-month goals. So if your goal is to hit diamond in the next 30 days, I wouldn't suggest signing up with a success partner who's like, yes, I'm going to give myself a year to hit diamond. You're not on the same page. You're not running at the same pace. That's okay, but you're probably not going to be compatible. So make sure that it's almost like a dating, like you're checking to see if this is going to be a good match. And if it's not, we say, you know what, it's not a good match, no hard feelings, you move on to the next person. So that's a little bit about success partners. Okay, I'm almost done, guys. I promise. I know I'm running over. Back to the basics. What they kept straying over and over and over again is that we get ahead of ourselves and make this business a lot harder than it actually is. So back to the basics. We are in a relationship business. Connect with people. Right? If you're not connecting with people and messaging people just to see how they're doing and connecting with them in their lives, I message people just to say, hey, what's up? What's going on? If it naturally leads to the fact that they ask me about a challenge group or they talk about, yeah, I've been seeing you've been working out, I need to get back into shape, then cool, it'll lead to Beachbody. But a lot of times it doesn't, and that's okay. But we are in a relationship business where people need to know we care about them first and foremost. Sharing your story on social media consistently. Who listened to the National Wake Up Call? Who did their homework? Right? She talked about sharing your story on social media, but not only just sharing your story, because it's one thing to post, hey, I worked out today, cool, go me, but showing value in every aspect of our business and doing it consistently, right? So just saying, hey, I worked out today, is that necessarily adding value? And I'm not calling anyone out on here because I have done it. I have been like, killed T25, awesome. Okay. That's not a scroll stopper and that's not adding value to anybody's day. Maybe sharing your story of, something you had to overcome to get up and push play that morning, or how you felt while you were doing the workout, or how you feel now. Something that's going to add value, make them feel inspired, make them relate to you. That's something that we want to constantly be doing. So always asking yourself, are you giving people information and content that would add to their lives in a positive way, right? So always be thinking, is this going to add to their lives in a positive way? And here's the real gut check. Are you the type of person you would want to follow? So I think that's always fun. I like to play the game with myself, or sometimes I'll just go back and I'll scroll through my timeline and just see, is what I'm posting, is it interesting? Like if I take an outside look, actually sometimes I get my husband to do this because he's very frank and honest with me. And sometimes he'll be like, no, babe, that's not interesting or engaging at all. But sometimes having an outside perspective, maybe it's your upline coach, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's a girlfriend, to scroll through your timeline and say, would you want to follow me? Like if you didn't know me, am I sharing value? Is it interesting? Is it engaging? That's always a gut check, because sometimes it's a no. Sometimes it's like, no, I'm not really somebody I'd want to follow. I'd probably just skim through. And then we need to figure out, how can we change that? Adding value creates trust and builds you a following. When I first started, I think I would post and maybe get like 2 likes, and one of them was my mom and one of them was probably Jessica. Honest to God truth, right? And not that it's about likes, but I've had to build up that trust in my social media following. And now, depending on if it's good and of value, I'll get engagement, I'll get likes, I'll get comments, but that has taken time and consistency. And people want to work with people they like, know, and trust. And how do they know that? Through your social media. It is a little mini reality TV of your life. But we want to always make sure that we're posting that positive, valuable content. Next thing, tracking your business. So we are getting ready to run the Destination Diamond group. Laura posted about it. You are more than welcome to join in. This is a tracker that we're going to be using. If you're not tracking your business yet, you will be in our group. So get excited. If you were in our Team Cup team, we would talk about, what did you do? Did you connect with people? Did you message? We had a little group feed going, and that's the best way to see if your business is moving forward. Again, join our group. I'll touch more on this of what this looks like. But if you're not tracking your activity, you can't really see where you are in your business and where you need to improve. So this is just simple daily disciplines that aren't that exciting, but it's a day in and day out. If you haven't read The Compound Effect or The Slight Edge, get those books ASAP, because it talks about, doing this daily things that may seem inconsistent or not that, important at the time, but over time they add up. So again, we'll talk more about this in our Destination Diamond group. If you need me to send this to you, I can send that to you as well. Okay, so action items. Sorry, guys, I know I'm running over. I was trying to give you cliff notes of literally like a day and a half full of stuff. But this is all great and wonderful, but I don't want you to just listen. I want you to write these down, and I would love for us in the comments after I post the recording to share what this looks like. You don't have to necessarily share it with us, but share it with your upline at least. Define what success looks like for you. For you, it might just be, I just want to get my Shakeology paid for and I'll be happy. Cool, that's success for you. It might be, I want to save up to take my family on vacation, pay for it in cash, and not have to stress about putting on a credit card. Awesome, let's get you there. Or it may be, you know what, I want to be able to build a full-time income, have financial freedom, have freedom of time, and I want to take it to the top. Cool, then let's help you get there too. But figure out what it looks like for you, because it looks different for all of us. But write it down so we know how to help you get there. Write down your Shakeology why. Why are you drinking it every day? Are you drinking it because we tell you to, because it's so great? Do you fully believe in why it's great? How has it helped you? Has it helped you achieve your goals? Does it help curb your cravings? Does it give you energy? What is it, and why do you do it? Why do you drink it? If you haven't already, commit to starting and finishing a program and share your journey publicly and in your challenge groups. So again, we always have to be a product of the product. I am queen. I'm doing T25 right now, but I am queen of starting a program and never seeing it through. Laura Simon, you are clutch on starting and finishing. Like, you are my idol in that. So if you are not starting and finishing a program, get on it. Tomorrow's Monday. You could start a program tomorrow. How exciting is that? I love to start on Mondays. Take a hard look at your social media and determine how you can add more value. This is probably the one that's a little bit more of a gut check, but scroll through. Is my social media, am I somebody that I want to follow? Yes or no? No judgment. Just figure out if we need to improve. How can we do that? and then start tracking your business. Okay. So again, tracking your business if you want to see it grow, if you want to build a substantial income. I assume everybody on this call, you're in it to win it with your wanting to build an income. You got to start tracking your business. We would love to have you in our Destination Diamond group, where we will help you with that and hold you accountable. And that is all I have. Sorry, I know that was a lot. You might just have to go back and rewatch if you need to. And I'm always here for questions. So do we have any questions at all? You're like, no, Raquel, that was just a lot of information.
Is there any way that we can see this PowerPoint so we can look back on it?
Yeah, I'll upload the PowerPoint into Team VIP.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Anything else?
Raquel, real quick, this is Leticia. When it comes to success partners, I know you posted the stuff, but would you recommend a new coach to a new coach be success partners, or somebody higher in rank? What would you recommend?
It just depends on what your goals are. If you're a new coach who's like wants to hit the ground running and really go, then find a new coach who really wants to hit the ground running and go. You know, when Jessica and I started this business, we were like, all right, if we're going to do this, we're going to go all in. Let's go, right? But if we had been at different paces, I don't know if that really would have worked. I would say with rank, I would probably try to stay close to your current rank just because you're at different levels. You know, a 2-star diamond versus maybe an emerald, probably not at the same pace. You can definitely go for them for mentorship, absolutely, but I don't know if I'd call that your success partner. And the thing that I would say with success partners, if you're not careful, it can turn into venting sessions. We can attest to that, right? Laura, Jessica, Genevieve, it can be like, wah, 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 this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working. Don't allow yourself to do that. You know, boom, what are your wins, your losses, and your commitments? Go. What did you do great this week? What did you not do great? And what is your commitment for this next week? And then let that be it, because I think it can be hard as well.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Are we excited about those action items? If you didn't listen to the National Wake Up Call with Anita Myron, strongly encourage you to do it. Super good, helpful information, and she's just spot on in what she says. And she has a lot of great YouTube videos too if you connected with her. I know Jessica and I connected with her from the very beginning as new coaches. She has a ton of YouTube videos that you can watch where she shares what she does as well.
So good, Raquel.
Yay.
I am fired up.
Yeah.
And hopefully everyone's going to join the Destinations Diamond group. And so we can all track our process and progress. All the above.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Bye. Thanks.